Alrighty, folks, welcome back to another skin plant update. It's been quite a while, fucking about a year. Yeah, about a year. Last August, I think. I just watched the other plant update to get a reference of where everything was at back a year ago. But yeah, it's been a year. I'm busy with life, but we did finally muster up some plants late in the growing season here. But here we are. Yeah, a little bit of a yard update too. We trimmed some of these trees out so that way a little bit more sunlight comes through. Hopefully that affects these guys positively. Unfortunately, I know last year I was big into starting stuff from seed. We only have a few things now. It's kind of shifted. Most of these plants I've either bought or were gifted to me by a friend, or bought from like Lowe's or online, the specialty trees like the palms. But yeah, with that being said, I'll start off here. These are the only, well, I have two plants that I've started from seed so far, but they're still all very young. These are California fan palms, I believe. Yeah, because those are the seeds I got from Arizona that I started them from. Now I'm remembering. Sorry about that. But yeah, they're still very small. I mean, I just bagged these like a few weeks ago. But they're starting to, obviously I cut off the top. They're starting to germinate one by one, it looks like, and starting their first little spears. I'll probably end up pulling some of them out. I usually wait till they get probably about yay high before I put them in a pot. Usually that size of a pot, to give them a fighting chance. Just while I got this in frame, here are the three types of fertilizer I use. I use these for the bonsai plants just because it's got a very small percentage of minerals and you don't want to over fertilize those. And just the all-purpose Miracle-Gro is pretty good for garden vegetables or just whatever kind of plant is all-purpose. And this is what I use for all the palms. So Jack's Classic Palm Food. Got that on Amazon. I used that all last year and this year since I've had palms, and it's been pretty good. Alright, moving on from the bagged California fan palms to this guy. This is a Euro Cedar Pine, and I had to take a picture of it and look it up on Google. It's essentially those, but I found it growing behind the fence back there when I was cleaning everything out. There's another little guy back there too, but figured I'd let that one try to survive the elements back there, see how big it can get, and I'm gonna try this one in a pot and perhaps bonsai it later on once it gets established in here. It's only been in this pot for about 2 weeks now, so yeah. And then moving on from this, there's no real growth to this guy yet. There's also, looks like there's been some damage from back there. I'm guessing he wasn't getting enough sunlight back there, or maybe they don't need that much sunlight, but I know these get a shit ton of sunlight because they sit there all day long. But anyway, yeah, these big trees kind of take anything that's growing little behind the fence sunlight, so I don't know if that's what that's from or lack of watering, but I fertilized it, watered it today, and we're gonna see what happens. That goes with all the plants. They've all been fertilized and watered. As far as an age on him, I have no idea. It seems to be a slow growing plant. I would guess 1 to 2 years, possibly. I don't know how long those have been there, but probably quite a while since the house was built in 2001. So anyway, this is a hibiscus that was gifted to me by another plant guy that should remain nameless unless he wants to start his own plant channel. But he's the OG plant guy. That's what we'll call him for now. But yeah, he started this hibiscus from seed. It's like up to it's past my hip. Almost at teeth level at this point. But yeah, it's been growing great out here with just some all-purpose fertilizer. It's been able to survive the elements. It's got a little new branch down here, which is nice. And it looks like it's going to be blooming this year. That's a good look of it. But the hibiscus, I don't know much about them, but I think they bloom once a year. And I know this guy's grown very well with just water and occasional fertilizer. So yeah, it's looking great. I had to support him with this little stick finally, and a little string of yarn, because we got a windstorm the other day, about blew him over. But like I said, he's been pretty good surviving the elements. Over here we got a basil plant we got from a farmer's market that I've actually harvested several times from. There's really nothing special about this. So, I mean, that it's gonna die by winter time. Here we have a 2-year-old Washingtonia robusta that I ordered online this year. It's doing pretty well. Really nothing to report other than he's working on another frond, and he's had a frond trimmed off. This is one of the original plants that I have, and yeah, I mean, it's been with us since the creation of the plant channel. I didn't grow it from seed. It was gifted to me by my sister. I'm probably repeating myself here, but yeah, this year, like, again, this thing just gets neglected, and then I'll randomly water it. And I did that once, and this thing shot up. And then I did that again, and this thing shot out. But it only grows at certain times of the year, so I don't know if there's a method to the way it grows. But I threw some tropical fertilizer in there, some of this stuff, and it shot up. It shot out a side cactus, it looks like. But yeah, I wanted to bring it. It's normally kept inside, but I wanted to bring it out for the update along with everything else. But yeah, it's alive. I don't know for how much longer, because that's looking a little rough. Maybe I'll shoot him a little bit of water too. But this is a top of a pineapple that's looking pretty rough. But I saw in an online video, plant video, this guy twisted the top off a pineapple, soaked it in some water, and it grew a root system, and he stuck it in the ground. And supposedly it's slow growing, but a pineapple should grow, if you water it correctly, should grow out the top. So seen the videos of it, I wanted to try it myself. It's not looking too hot, but I've been told they take quite a while to root, so I'm gonna just kind of see what happens. Here we have some flame trees. These are the other ones that are that have germinated from seed. Only other plant that I have so far. They're fresh. I mean, they're probably 2 weeks out of the bag at this point. So not very old, very young. They also have their starter leaves on them. That one hasn't even come up yet, and I think he might be dead. But yeah, out of 20 seeds, this is all I had. A lot less success this year with the germination of these. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successful ones so far. But yeah, a couple of them working on their first real canopy, as you can see. But yeah, I'll leave these outside. I kind of have a plan for the indoor tropical exotic plants for this winter. Hopefully we don't lose everything again like we did last year. This is an Australian willow bonsai. So I bought it online. Essentially, they send it to you with just a stem, and you soak the stem in about 1 or 2 inches of water in a cup, and it'll grow a root system. And then you can plant it and bonsai it if you'd like, or just let it grow. And right now it's been doing pretty well. I bought like 3 or 4 of these. This is the only one that stuck. The other ones turned like moldy color, and I had to throw them away. But looks like this guy's doing pretty well. He's working on his 3rd little branch there, so that's good. Moving down to this guy. It was also gifted to me by the OG plant guy who refuses to get a plant channel. You know who you are. But anyway, he gave me this habanero plant, and I've had it most of the summer now. And I thought I was doing something wrong with it, but this turns out this 3-gallon pot is plenty enough for it. I mean, we're starting habaneros left and right now, so these are probably the biggest ones. He's been soaking up a shit ton of water lately. We're supposed to be hot and dry for the next couple days going into the next week, so like I give this guy, I've been giving him like 2 gallons a day, and if I don't, his leaves get all like droopy. So it's amazing, this guy like trying to allocate all his resources to look at all these habaneros. I'm gonna have like 100 habaneros if this plant doesn't get damaged in a storm or something. But yeah, this is a plant that I bought online. It is Japanese bamboo. So if you look closely, you can kind of resemble some bamboo. Still a very young plant, so that's probably why it doesn't look like your traditional bamboo. Maybe down there you can kind of see this going through the jungle. Down there you can kind of see the start of some bamboo. I did prune it up at some point this summer. I can't remember when. It gets weekly fertilizer. It's really like it grows like a weed. There's really low maintenance to this thing. Not very much I have to do. So, but it's fun to watch grow. That's for sure. Another 2-year-old Washingtonia robusta. Nothing really to report, other than it's working on a new frond as well. This is a 4-year Washingtonia robusta, and he's shooting up. Since I fertilized him last week, he's shooting up. Look at this frond, shooting it up, and he's also working on another one, and that will probably be expanded like this within the next couple weeks, and he'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fronds. Pretty good looking. Pretty good looking. Moving on, this one is also a 1 to 2 year old, 2-year-old, I believe. Washingtonia robusta came in the same packages as other ones, but took some dog damage. But I groomed it up, gave it a little haircut there, a little high and tight, and he's doing pretty well now. Surprised he survived. The only thing that saved him was probably this, because the dog couldn't rip him out of the ground. But yeah, these things are pretty resilient. Again, I've noted that last year, but it's growing pretty well. I'm sure with this round of fertilizer, he'll probably shoot that frond right out. Just have to keep an eye on him. Moving on, over here, we have a sago palm that I planted in the ground over here. That's almost 100% going to die in the winter. I just thought it'd look cool for now right here. It's really stayed the same size the entire time I've had it. And honestly, looking like it's starting to die. This has always been there since I bought it, but this stuff is new. But I don't, maybe this thing's really slow growing. Maybe this is a new frond. I don't think so though. I really haven't seen any new growth from this thing. And I've fertilized it and watered it and kept it wet. But yeah, it's supposed to be able to get very big, but in terms of like width wise, not so much height, but it gets really wide and then it grows like to be like 4 feet. But yeah, I don't know, we'll see what happens with that. I'm definitely just gonna leave it out here in the winter time. I'm not gonna do any maintenance on it. Here we have a cucumber plant. Starting some cucumbers. It's kind of an unorthodox setup. Next year I'll have a much better garden setup. I plan to do like a raised garden, but kind of just threw some vegetable plants in the ground over here just to kind of see what would happen, really. This guy's probably gonna break the plant by the time it gets big enough to harvest. And then I think there's one more down here. Yep, right down there. Bell pepper plants. I haven't seen much success from it other than the pepper that was on it when I bought it. I picked it off, but it does look like it's budding, so that is a sign of possible production. So look at that, another bud up there. Keep an eye on it. This is a plant that's been there since we moved in. I don't really maintain it other than I trimmed it up once this year, and it keeps coming back, so less interesting plant. Here we have a tomato plant that I finally put a ring around a couple days ago. It fell over. Looking like it's a husky cherry red tomato plant. There's one tomato back there. I'm trying to get a good look at it. There it is. But yeah, it's starting to grow tall and bud. So we'll get a decent amount of cherry tomatoes from that, I think, as long as the rabbits don't eat it. And then moving on to down here, our final plant. Jesus, 15-minute plant update. We got a jalapeno. A couple little jalapenos. I've harvested probably 2 from here so far, but this one seems to be doing the best out of all the garden plants sitting right here. So I mean, I don't know if it's where it sits in the soil, if the soil up there is a little worse than it is down here, but yeah, I don't know. But there's your plant update. Yeah, A1 plant sauce is out.